Hello and welcome to the day's episode of Focus Atlanta. I am your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for tuning in with us this Sunday afternoon. In our first segment, we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition. I'm here with Brent Franson of Most Days. Thanks so much for coming on the show today. Now, March is National Nutrition Month, and so everybody's feeling geared up to do better. What kind of tips do you have?
Yeah, so a few tips. The number one piece of diet advice is actually very simple. It's a quote from Michael Pollan's book called Omnivore's Dilemma, and that quote is eat food, not too much, mostly plants. And so what that really means is eat food means, look, what we get at 7-Eleven, the chips, et cetera, that's not food. I think we know what that is. We want to limit that in favor of real food. Not too much means let's be careful about our portions. Americans, we're famous for eating big portions. And then mostly plants means you don't have to, not eat meat, but you want lots of fruits and vegetables. So I find that easy to remember, and I remind myself of it as I go through my day and figure out what I'm going to eat.
That is a nice, easy way to remember, because I got to say, when people talk about nutrition, most times it seems so restrictive, right? And that's what scares people off. That's what scares people about trying to do the right thing. They said, oh, I can't do this, and oh, this is a big no, and oh, I can't do that. But if you think of it in terms of what you can do and how to do it better, I find that it's a lot easier.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, that's why we've named the company Most Days, is because this mentality of self-compassion is really important. And actually the research backs up that's the most helpful mental state for creating sustainable change. So most days I want to eat well. I want to have vegetables with each of my meals. Most days I want to have fruit for dessert instead of processed sugar. But not all the time. It's okay that we're sometimes having dessert or we're sometimes having a meal that's not as healthy. We just want to, we don't want to beat ourselves up too much, and we want to have that most days mentality.
Oh my gosh, when you put it like that, that makes so much more sense. I love that. Most days, if we just do good, most days we're ahead of the curve. I love it. It makes so much sense. To that end, where can people get these kind of tips and get this kind of encouragement when they're thinking about nutrition?
Yeah, so you're welcome to join our community. So Most Days is an app that uses behavioral psychology to help people change their habits to improve the quality of their life. And so lots of people on Most Days are using it to change their diets, to exercise more, to have more, to do the things that are healthy most days more, and the things that are not healthy, less. And so we're available on the App Store and on Android as well.
Oh, that's so helpful. Again, we tend to beat ourselves up when it comes to health and nutrition. You know what I mean? We bang ourselves on the head when it comes to exercise, bang ourselves on the head when it comes to nutrition. Just feeling so defeated isn't really helpful. But when you say most days do the right thing, it's like a pat on the back almost, like, okay, you did good 5 out of the 7 days. If you fell off that one day, or that 1.5 day, you're going to be okay.
Yeah, and setbacks are a normal part of the process. So if you're trying to change your diet or you're trying to exercise, whatever it might be, you're not going to be perfect. Actually, if you're striving for perfection, you're doing it wrong. So if you're having setbacks, you're doing it right. You remind yourself, oh, I didn't really get it done today. I wasn't eating as healthy as I want to. All right, that's okay. What can I learn from that? Tomorrow's a new day. Let's get back on it tomorrow. So it's all about getting back on the horse as opposed to just being perfect and never falling off in the first place.
Oh my goodness. Now that philosophy works for me. That I can get behind because, again, nobody's perfect. And so why set yourself up for feeling like a failure when you can just do the right thing most days? Gosh, it was so good to meet you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, I can't say it any better than Brent. Listen, if you do the right thing most days, you'll have some success. Check them out on your Android or on your iPhone or whatever, or go to the website, learn a little bit more. This type of positive reinforcement is what we need when we're trying to do the right thing. All we need is a little direction sometimes. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to this segment of Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back with more.
An important